All right, awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Money Mindset Workshop. Let's put this on speaker view if you want.
Yep.
Okay. Well.
Go ahead.
All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. My name is Audrey. This is my husband, James, and we are excited to bring to you just a little afternoon money mindset workshop. We are so excited about Scottsdale. Take it back to gallery view. How many of you are excited about the Scottsdale Summit that we launched over a month ago? Go like this if you're excited. Yes. How many of you have seen growth in your business since leaving Celebration and this incredible incentive trip has launched? Go like this. Whether you are in the top 6 right now or not, we launched this with Zach and Eden so that you could just be rewarded for your hard work in your Isagenix business. And so we are so honored to be on this call with you today. And we are speaking with you about something that James and I are really passionate about, and a lot of things that we did not know and we have grown into since joining Isagenix and since being a part of this incredible company.
And like the last one, this is a workshop, so we're going to having there be some interaction. So if you're not familiar with how to use the chats on Zoom, I would highly encourage getting familiar with it, because we are going to be wanting a lot of just feedback and kind of conversation through this, because really the goal today, guys, is to help you in your own way experience some sort of breakthrough or move the needle in some sort of way in your own life, so that you can continue to grow and expand to whatever level that you want. So if you don't have a pen, a piece of paper to take some notes on, we have Antonio ready to grow. I love it. Get ready to just be using the chats and taking some notes, you guys, because this is really something that we have had, like she said, a lot of fun and gone to a lot of work on with ourselves when it comes to money and how we view it and how it impacts our lives.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, because when James and I were talking about this workshop, I got really excited to share with you about money mindset and upgrading your money story, because this was something that I wasn't familiar with prior to Isagenix. Isn't it incredible, all of the personal development and the personal growth that you go through when you join Isagenix? Because that was me. And this year, in probably about January of this year, James and I really went to work on changing our money story and really dove into why our beliefs are the way that they are and how we could really reprogram our minds to look at money different. And so our hope is that by the end of this workshop, you will have broken through in some area of your life. And if you're on this call and you are thinking to yourself, well, I have money mindset nailed, I've upgraded my story, I am just soaring and flying, then great. Maybe you will learn 1 or 2 things that you can impart to your team about money mindset, because I really envision the next little bit of time that we have together to dive deep into the negative stories that you've had about money from your childhood, from your high school, college years, to your years before Isagenix, and really breaking that through so that you can soar and finish out the 2018 stronger than any year that you've ever had. Because the way that you end one season is the way that you begin another. And so if we can break through these barriers that will allow you to be able to have more ease and more flow in your Isagenix business, that's what this call is all about.
Well, and here's the truth. I mean, yeah, it's on the table. Okay. Here's the truth. We're not experts or masters at this whatsoever. We're not going to get on here and try and claim that we are. However, like she was saying, we have really gone to work at finding out what beliefs we have about money, what things when we started Isagenix were preventing us from growing when it came to having more money or experiencing more growth in our business, because of the limiting beliefs that we had about money, which in turn came out to limited actions and limited, steps that we would take because our beliefs around money were skewed. And so while we don't have everything figured out, I believe that no matter where anybody is at on the financial thermostat, I'll call it, everybody is able to grow, right? We're all, as humans, I think, really wanting to grow. So even if you've had major breakthrough, if you just, if you are, like she was saying, soaring financially, this is something that even we are constantly taking initiative with every single day so that we can receive more, so that we can give more and we can circulate more. So in the chats, this is where the interaction comes in. In the chats, I would love to hear from you guys some of your views about money. What are some words that come to mind when you think of money?
Can be negative or positive, both. We just want to hear what your views are when you think of money.
Yeah, we just love to kind of get a gauge what people, freedom, arrogant,
abundance.
They can be words, they can be sentences like, money is evil, or, whatever, freedom and abundance.
Money, you can say yes, need it like oxygen.
Any others? All right.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Stressful.
How many of you, show of hands like this, when you were growing up, you overheard this phrase, well, money just doesn't grow on trees? Go like this, if that was you. Most of you did. Okay. Okay, awesome.
No stress. Will give freedom to do what I want. Love that. Let's see, a stereotype, Christy, of rich people being snobby. Can I really have all the money I desire? Yes, these are good.
How many of you before Isogenics viewed people who had a lot of money as snobby or uppity, or you had the perception of them that they viewed themselves as better than other people? Because that's how I viewed money. Prior to Isogenics, I viewed people who had a lot of money were not like down to earth type of people. And that was the story that I had in my mind for a very long time.
So, yeah, these are all really good. So we'll share a little bit about my money story before Isogenics, because for me, before I got into Isogenics, there wasn't really much personal development. There really wasn't much thinking. Honestly, guys, I didn't think much about my relationship with money. And I'll ask you guys, who before Isogenics and getting into this huge realm of personal development thought consciously about their relationship with money and how it affects their everyday lives? Not just their thoughts about money, but who consciously thought about their relationship with money? Never. I never did. I didn't even know
there was such a thing.
And so what I want, maybe this is new to some of you guys even now, we all have a relationship with money, whether we know it or not. And we can, I know for me, I can have all these positive mantras and whatnot, but there can still be these places of stress, these places of blockage, whether it's from, like I said, limited belief stories that I've just had pounded into my head through conditioning or through the people that I grew up around, whatever. And those are stories that we just, choose or choose not to accept. So for me, I grew up in, middle class, upper middle class, whatever family. My dad worked. I'm one of 5 kids, 4 girls. So, there was a lot of mouths to feed. We were in gymnastics. We did sports. And, my money mindset really for a large portion was I never felt like there was enough money. Like we never lacked anything. We never lacked anything. As kids, as family, my parents, they were so good to give us everything. We never knew if we were in a bind or anything like that. But as I started to grow, I realized that money seemed like it was really hard to come by. It left really fast, and there never seemed to be enough of it. Has anybody else felt that way? Like there just wasn't enough. And so when I would get around it, it would just kind of make me stressed. And it would just kind of make me anxious. And I saw all these people, as I was getting into high school and then to college, like I grew up in a part of Tennessee that was pretty wealthy. Now my parents moved there before it blew up on the map. And so they did all these constructions and put all these $1 million homes all around us. And so when I would say, I was from Brentwood, people would be like, oh, okay, you're from Brentwood. Gotcha. And, they just kind of pegged you, right? I got pegged as, oh, I'm a Brentwood boy, because, when I was growing up, I was in high school, and my friends, when they turned 16, they'd get a brand new Camaro or a brand new Tahoe or a brand new truck. And that wasn't something that, our family did. But I saw all of these kids, they just got so much, and they were so entitled, and they were so, like Audrey was saying, they just thought they were better than everybody. And I was like, you know what? If that's what being rich and being wealthy is about, I want nothing to do with it. I don't want any part of that. I just want a simple life, just minimalist. I don't need all that flashy stuff. That's not what makes my life complete. And not only do I not need that, but I don't like that. And I don't like people, the majority of people that I've seen that have a lot of money. They just think they're better than other people. And so as I graduated high school, I was actually so much so in that place that I left the States. I moved to New Zealand for about 5 months and just snowboarded. I was a mountain bum, and I just snowboarded in New Zealand. Had a backpack, didn't know anybody. I went with a missions organization, lived there, and was like a total, minimalist. It was awesome. I had like 6 pairs of clothes. And during my time when we went to Turkey afterwards, I only washed my hair once when we were there. So like I was living the life. It was awesome. Because I just felt like I didn't need it. And I felt more justified that I didn't have a lot of money. Okay. I felt better. I felt like a better person because I didn't have a lot of money. Well, no, I don't need that. It doesn't, it doesn't mess me up or I can live very simply on, $20 a day or whatever it is. And so really when I got into Isogenics, I had so much work to do, and there were so many blocks in my own mind and in my own story, the way I perceived wealthy people, the way I saw successful people, that they were just snobs. And I had to grow so much in saying, wait a second, I believe myself to be a good person, and I believe I have good intentions with everybody, and I believe I can bring so much value to this world. And so if this world is circulating by money, and we need money to buy things, and we need money to, start businesses and to give to the poor and whatnot, then if I have more money, then I'll be able to give more to people, and I'll be able to circulate more in all of the world in such an amazing way and breathe life through money in so many different people. But where I was before Isogenics was a completely place of like, I don't want anything to do with anybody that has a lot of money, and I don't think that they're good people. So that's a little bit of my story and where I came from.
Yeah, and my story was just a little bit opposite of James. I grew up, my parents, they're on the line right now. They are James and Audrye McLeod. My parents, I grew up thinking that we had so much money. I lived in like a really beautiful upbringing. My parents, we never lacked anything. I never heard my parents say anything really negative about money ever. My parents are really positive individuals and positive parents. And so, I remember being younger, and my dad used to collect these coins, and we would sit in the living room and we helped my dad wrap these coins. And so I was surrounded by these coins and surrounded by my parents, not really even speaking anything much about money in a positive or a negative way. But I was around these coins. I remember them specifically. And so in my eyes, my perception of my upbringing was that we were around and surrounded by a lot of money. There was never any lack. Anything that my brother and I wanted to do, whether it was sports, we were always able to do it. Whether, my parents are really strong in their faith. So whatever we needed, we would always just pray for it and trust that the Lord would provide, and He always did. And then most of you know my story, but when I was 19, I became a nanny for Herb and Patty Cepeda, who are some of the top earners in Isogenics. And so I was surrounded by Herb and Patty at 19 years old, and they have made millions. I mean, Patty and Herbie have made over $20 million in 8 years with Isogenics. And so when I first started nannying for them and I was surrounded by their money mindset, I absorbed all of that energy and all of that frequency. I remember always saying, I'm going to be a millionaire. And I did not have great work ethic at all. Like, I was the absolute worst employee on the planet. You did not want to hire me. I had my job experience before Isagenix. I was the worst. I would come in late because I just wanted to sleep. I wasn't passionate about anything, but I always spoke out of my mouth that I was going to be a millionaire, because my perception growing up was that we did have a lot of money. We laugh about it now because my parents were like, well, we didn't really have a ton of money growing up at all. We just made it happen. And my parents were never stressed out about money. I never watched them be stressed out about money. They never allowed money to control them. They were always, in my perception of it, is that they were in control of everything that was going on. They just trusted that everything would work out. And the older that I became and the more I began to understand about money mindset, and some of the questions that we are going to ask you guys, was that my perception growing up was that there was just so much freedom when it came to money. It wasn't something that carried bondage. It was something that brought freedom. It was something that allowed you to do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. And so that was my experience with it. So when I came into Isagenix at 22 years old, I did need to continue to develop my money mindset as I was growing, because at 22, I was still very, very young and very naive when it came to business. So I did have to dive into questions, and I did have to rewrite my money story, but it was a little bit different than James's. So
the reality is, you guys all have your own story with money. It's so unique to you, and there's a lot of commonalities between all of us, but each of you guys right now sitting in your chairs at home or on your couch or whatnot, there is a feeling you have towards money, a common feeling. And I want to ask you these 6 questions that you can just write down and answer later, but ponder on today, because you guys, I truly, truly believe that when you can consciously expand the way and change the story that you have around money, more of it will inevitably flow into you, and it will flow out, and it will create so much ease and so much freedom. Who can get excited to have more excitement and freedom around money? Okay, so that's what this is all about.
I receive it.
So first question is, what have I heard about money? We have all heard things. You overhear people talking at the store. You overhear, you just hear it all the time. You hear comments when, you ask for money from your parents or whatnot, and they say something that just kind of sticks to you. What have you heard about money? What do you believe about money?
This is huge.
What do you believe about it?
And when James is asking you these questions, if you're not writing down the answers right now, that's okay, but allow yourself the freedom to be brutally honest.
Guys,
if you believe that money is evil, and if you believe that you're not worthy of money, write these things down, because we are going to show you how to break through from some lies that have been feeding your mind for some time, or and to really break through the fear of money.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, you guys, this was probably, in my Isagenix personal development, this was probably one of the most uncomfortable topics that I addressed. And I was so honest with myself, and it was just like, I had no idea. I uncovered this stuff. I was like, I didn't even know I felt this way, but it makes perfect sense because of the way I act around it, the way that I, interact with other people. Anyway, okay, so question number 3, do I believe there is money for all that I need? Do I believe there is money for all that I need? And then the second to that is, do I believe there is money for all that I want? You guys have desires. You guys have goals. You guys have, there's visions for you with Isagenix. Do you believe that there is enough, not just to cover what you need, the bare minimums? That's how I was living. Oh, I only need, I can get by with just some snacks throughout the day. I 3 outfits, I'm good to go. I don't need any more than that. But how about those things down there that you really want, that might cost a lot of money, more money than you've ever experienced? Do you believe that there is money for all that you want? Is money easy to make? Does money flow? I'll rephrase that. Does money flow in and out of your life with ease? I'll phrase it that way. Does money flow in and out of my life with ease? And then I'll throw one more in there, and this is probably the biggest one. Have you guys got all these? Did you miss any? Thumbs up, you got all of them? Okay, the last one. Am I worthy to make a lot of money? Am I worthy to have or to make a lot of money? So you don't need to answer all of those right now, but I strongly encourage you guys. This is a time where you guys have set aside a time of your Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Sunday night to really go to work on yourself. If we don't ever ask ourselves these questions, you guys, we will just kind of go with whatever has been ingrained in us. So what I have found is that a lot of people say that they want money, that they love money, that money excites them, but really they actually resent money. And they fear money, and they get stressed out around money. And so one of the things that one of the most powerful practices that I did was I wrote a letter to money. So think about this right now. With your relationship with money, you do have a relationship with money. And so I want to take 5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll take 5 minutes, and I want you don't have to share it. So this is an exercise for you to be as brutally honest. And I want you to write a letter to money. Dear money, I love when you're around. I hate it when you leave. You stress me out. And just take 5 minutes. We'll put on some music here. And I want you to write a letter to money as honest as you can. We'll put some music on. And then once the music is done, we will continue here.
To my daydream, smoking on some OG, but I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love. Oh, she acting like she don't know me, baby girl, I'm that OG, 'cause I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love. Saw you in September, something I should do. Knew you in November, still I ain't pursued on you. You, on you. Daydreams I remember, nights I never do. Number one contender, stealing all my thoughts is you. It's you. Oh, I'm holding on to my daydream, smoking on some OG, but I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love. Oh, she acting like she don't know me, baby girl, I'm that OG, 'cause I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love. Oh, I'm holding on to my daydream, smoking on some OG, but I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love. Oh, she acting like she don't know me, baby girl, I'm that OG, 'cause I'm homegrown and I'm leaning on my love, my love.
Okay. You might have more to say, and that is completely fine, but we are going to keep moving on with with the call right now. So just in the chats, how was that for you guys? You don't need to say necessarily what your notes say, but how was that?
Unless you want to, then you can. But,
Emotional. I have some resentment around money.
Revealing.
Confrontation.
Tough.
I'm telling you guys, the first time
emotionally and freeing.
That's good, Debbie. I love that. First time I did this, I almost started crying because I didn't even realize all of these things that I had tied up in money. Hate and love, exactly. Cleansing, releasing of anxiety and fear, tough, uncomfortable. I love that. So guys, here's, and you can keep chatting. It's totally good. Here's something, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this. We realized that there's so many things that are talked about. There's so many things that are, gone with, and there's workshops and all this, but money is kind of one of those things that I have found, don't really ever address full on. Like we'll kind of just paint around it and we'll just kind of dodge and whatnot. But then actually to get to your belief around money, it's something that I feel like we just kind of avoid as people. And so go ahead.
Well, and if you want to break through to another level, it's challenging to break through if you can't identify what's holding you back. And so doing this exercise, and the first time that James and I really did do this, it was uncomfortable because there seemed to be our thermostat for the income that we were making. There was a ceiling that we couldn't break through. And we realized that we needed to rewrite our money story and begin to break down these old beliefs so that we could bust through to a different level.
Yeah. And
so we're sharing this not to keep you in this place. We are going to take you out of this emotional place and into a place of freedom and into a place of your new story. But we can't take you to that place of that new story until we've identified where you're at right now so that we can break you through. Yeah.
And if you want to continue, I took days to just kind of wrestle with this. Because it was an exercise I had never done. So of that, you guys just underwent a lot. You guys just processed a lot, maybe brought up some stories, some old stories, maybe some childhood experiences or life experiences where there was it was so profound and there was something that you believed about money. So when it comes to your beliefs, I want you guys to write down on your pieces of paper 1 or 2 beliefs that from your letter that you believe affect you the most on a day-to-day basis. The beliefs that affect you the most in the negative way. And I want you to write them down in complete sentences. For example, like I have a belief that money is bad and all people with a lot of money are snobs and rich. That is just something that I believe. It's something I want to change, but it's just something that I believe right now. And that is experienced on a day-to-day basis.
Or it could be if I make any money, I can't spend any of it because it will never come back if I do. So,
or if I make a lot of money, I will lose all my friends and everyone will talk bad about me and I'll turn into some sort of horrible person. Like money will ruin me.
I actually thought that the more money that I made, the more my friends that my friends were not going to want to be friends with me. I genuinely thought that when I started Isogenics. I said, if I really grow and I make a ton of money, my friends aren't going to want to be friends with me anymore because then they're going to think that I'm better than them. And that was a story that I had created in my mind for so long, and I didn't even realize that. But when I believed that story, I was hitting the ceiling and I couldn't break through. How could I break through something like that if that's what I genuinely believed?
Mm-hmm. So with that, I think we've covered everything in terms of is there anything you else want to?
Negative, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we have started, you guys, I think there are so many things that we could do in terms of continuing to go to levels of the belief about money and negative experiences and hashing those out. But for now, we're going to leave that. I would encourage you, if you've just got started and you've just kind of came to the realization like, whoa, my relationship with money is nowhere near where I want it to be, and I have a lot of problems with it. Just show of hands. I'm curious because mine initially said, oh, sorry. Hold on. I'll ask the question. You guys are so quick. Show of hands. So show of hands. Whose letter, if you were going to write that to a person and maybe you're a significant other, maybe kind of sounded like you were a little bit crazy? Did anybody sound like that? Like, I love you, I hate you, you know, I love it when you're here.
Toxic relationship.
I hate it when you leave me. Like,
get out of that
you control me, you stress me out, but I want more of you, but get away from me. Like, that's kind of how mine was. The first time I had that experience, I wrote it all out, I fleshed it out, and I read it and I was like, I kind of sound like a crazy person. No wonder money doesn't want to be in a relationship with me, because I'm like, I want you, but I hate you. I want you to get close, but I'm scared of you to get close, so don't get too close. Like, when you think about money, if it was a personified, if it was a person, it kind of to me clarified why my relationship with money wasn't good. Because if it was a person, it wouldn't be good either. And so kind of uncovering those lies. But I think we've gotten to a place of at least acknowledgement of some of the things. So I want everybody just kind of shake out a little bit, shake out to get all those negative things off of you when it comes to your beliefs or whatever that stuff was. And now I want you to write down as many positive ideas that you possibly can have about money. How many good, right? I want you to write all the positive things that money can do for your life right now. We're going to switch tempo a little bit, and we're going to now focus on creating a positive money story and focusing on that. So write down positive things about money, good things about money, healthy things about money, all of that. And I think one of the big things about what we've learned is that it's so easy, and just in life, is we can so focus on all of the negative things 10 times more than we can focus on the positive things. But when we choose to focus on something different, that's when we'll start to get a different result.
Yeah. So write down all of the positive things that you can think of money. And as you're doing this, think of the beautiful people who are in the profession of network marketing, and specifically Isogenics, that you admire in this company, some of the top earners that you admire, and look at the qualities that they carry and write those things down as well.
So here's some examples, and you can throw some in the chats if you want to as well. That would be cool, just to see what you guys see money being positive for. So here's maybe some examples of what writing positive ideas would be like. Money can be a force for good. The growth of my savings account reflects how well I value myself. Money is a spiritual expression. It's totally fine to ask for what I want and what I need. So I mean, stuff like that in terms of how you positively view money and how it's healthy.
And one of the things that I've learned a lot through this exercise is we talk a lot about affirmations, speaking life over yourself. How many of you have a gratitude journal? Go like this if you have a gratitude journal. Okay, so what if every morning as you write in your gratitude journal, you also wrote affirmations and spoke truth over your life regarding your money relationship? What we are going to do is we are going to rewrite that story that we just wrote about money. We are going to rewrite that story, and being able to read that relationship to yourself every single day. What you focus on expands, and what you continue to speak over your life will manifest into your reality. So the fact that you can change your negative mindset into focusing on the gratitudes because of a gratitude journal, why would this be any different? And the beautiful part about recognizing where you stand with your money story and being able to change it is that a moment of awareness can change your entire life. It is just one shift and things begin to flow. When you have an understanding and awareness of something and you begin to see, oh my gosh, that light bulb goes on, the energetic waves begin to flow and things really begin to shift and they change in your life.
So for example, instead of having the story be, no matter how hard I try, I can't save money, why not change it to, it's easy to save because I value my future self. And there's money that's flowing in and out of me with so much ease and so much abundance. For me, when I was paying bills and when I would have to, let money go, there would always be this feeling of like, I don't know if it's ever going to come back. I don't know if that was the last that I saw of it. And And so it created this anxiety. And so when I get this, in this anxiety state, what that really is, you guys, is that's a scarcity mentality. That's what it is. It really is a belief that there's not enough money for me to have everything that I want or I need or that I desire, and for everybody else to have what they want too. But not only that, one of the lies that I believed was, and I kind of alluded to this, was that if I have less money, that means somebody else has more money. And it's probably just safer and better for somebody else to have more money, and they can just kind of deal with it, and I'll just have less money. I'll just go ahead and say that, you guys. Because I refuse a ham and cheese sandwich in front of me doesn't solve or help world hunger whatsoever, okay? If somebody says, here is a ham and cheese sandwich, why don't you eat it? And I have this, complex of, well, if I refuse this, there's somebody right now in Africa, in a third world country, that doesn't have anything to eat. If I refuse this ham and cheese and sandwich, that means somebody else is having more to eat. You guys, that is a skewed mentality, and it's completely false. There's nothing about that that's credible or that's true. And the same thing goes with money. Some of us refuse money because we think that by denying money to come to us, we're allowing other people to have more money. Is this making sense to you guys at all? And so I had to change that belief about money myself, in the sense that, no, there is enough for me to make as many millions with Isagenix that I want to, and to go help and do and be as much as I want, and for everybody else to do what they want as well. And so one of the things that I started doing, and I've learned this from a couple of different sources, was to have different forms of money. Cash is obviously a very, very simple one, and to have it at different places around in your house. Or for me, for a long period there, I would carry $300 bills in my wallet at any given time. They'd be folded up and they'd be in my wallet. I would never spend them. I'd never spend that $300, but I'd have $300 of cash on me everywhere I went, so that I could psychologically know I don't need any of this, and I have the ability to buy whatever it is that I'm going into, whether it's a store, whether it's a restaurant. There wouldn't be this, I would be walking into it with abundance. I'd be walking in saying, I don't lack anything here. Does that make sense? So for some people, they have money in their dresser, they have money in their couch or their kitchen, and they just have money all around, so that unconsciously you are just aware that money is everywhere. It's everywhere, you guys. There is so much money being moved right now in the world. And the reality of it is, the people who are making the most in a large way, they allow money to move in and move out of their life with so much more ease than maybe somebody who has $2 and there's a death grip on that money. You won't let it. It's like a hose. There can't be any more water that comes into your tank if you're kinking the hose because you're afraid of water, leaking out so badly. And so for me, I had to release that. Okay, it's great. I have the money to spend, for utilities or bills or rent or trips, like for business, whatever. I get to spend it. And guess what? I know that it's going to flow right back to me because I'm pouring into all of these relationships, all this stuff. But there's an energetic shift, you guys. It was such a shift for me, as opposed to every time money would leave, I would just kind of gasp and hold my breath, to, no, this is great. This is great. This is so healthy. This is exactly what it needs to do. It needs to go out and it needs to come back the same exact way. Because
here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much money you have. These are principles that continue to follow you until you change the story. It doesn't matter that James and I made $1 million with Isagenix now. We have to continue to upgrade our story. It doesn't matter if you have $30,000 and you're on a teacher's salary. You can still struggle with the same thing that somebody who makes $3 million a year has. You have to change the story in order to allow things to flow and allow it to be circulated, because money is meant to be circulated. Money is meant to come into your life. Money is meant for you to release it and give it. Money is meant to continue to move and to circulate around. It wants to come into your life because it wants you to live a life of abundance. But it does start with your mind.
Yeah. So with that, is this in the chat, you guys, is this helpful? Is any of this stuff good? Write something down real quick if this has been helpful. Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, cool. So, let I think we're.
Yeah.
So, all right, here's something that I want everybody to do. And these are going to be things that share. I want you to write 10 reasons why you deserve money. Make a list of 10 of why you, Rebecca, Anna, Haley, Mandy, AJ, Kristen, why you deserve money. I want you to write a list. Needs to be 10. Needs to be 10. If you have trouble writing 10, that's okay. I did too. And I'll talk about that in just a second. Gina says, dang, that's hard. Yes. Yes, it is hard. And yes, 10 reasons why we deserve money. Carrie, yes. I want you to really dig. I want you to really dig 10 reasons why.
And it's okay if this is uncomfortable to say, because you do deserve making an unbelievable amount of money. Everybody does deserve it. You're so right.
I'm glad that this is challenging, because it was for me, and I believe that it's very stretching when we start to really ask ourselves, hang on, but why do I deserve it? So has anybody gotten 10? No? A couple people? Okay, a couple people. Mandy said, yeah, this is hard. It is hard. So
it's not hard.
No.
Why even that?
Well, okay, yeah, it's challenging right now. Okay, so for those of you guys who have written down some things, I'd love to hear what you said. Why do you believe you deserve money? And this is a safe place. You guys aren't bragging here. You guys aren't gloating. You're not arrogant if you write down, I deserve a lot of money so that I can
to take care of my parents.
I can do
no stress about money, to pay off student loans.
Because I'm hardworking. I love that, Antonio, because I'm worthy of it.
Focused, to give, to take care of my family, because you have dreams. Yes, so good. Belief, to donate. I love that. Smart enough to know how to spend it. Yes, to provide for your family, to work hard, invest in yourself, bless others, your children's future. It's your desire. Yes.
To build a dream life.
To travel and to have freedom.
So I'll be honest, you guys, when I first wrote this down, again, this was kind of, this was, like I said, this is probably one of the toughest things I ever had to do. I got stumped at about 3. About number 3, I was like, well, why do I really deserve money? And I think one of the lies that I had and hung on to for a while again was that maybe I don't believe that I'm really worthy to have a lot. And maybe my thermostat is in such a place that I don't think I can actually handle having a lot of money. And what I mean by that is all of us right now on the line, we all have a thermostat. Your mind has a thermostat with money, meaning it has a place of comfort when it comes to how much money is in your bank account, how much money you are spending comfortably. And once you start to overdo that, or once it starts to exceed that, your mind will do whatever it can to fix it back to get normal. For example, one of the things, the biggest things that we see in our society today, of course, you guys know, is just an overspending. People get in debt. And so we have, somebody gets, $10,000 extra than they used to. Look at the Powerball winners. Look at these people that win $100 million, completely life-changing money. And we say to ourselves on the other side of the television or wherever, oh my gosh, if I won $100 million Powerball, I would be set for the rest of my life. And it's easy to say that when you haven't made $100 million, or you haven't been just given instantly $100 million. But what we find with those people, you guys all know the story, it's all burnt up within a matter of weeks, because they have to get rid of it. They can't hang on, and they can't steward $100 million, because the most they've ever stewarded in their life is $300 a week or $500 a week. That's as much as they know. And anything above that, they will find a way to get it out, whether it's buying a car or just saying, hey, here, you neighbor, I want to bless you. You take it. Like, I'll just give you all my money. You just take it. I don't want it. I don't want the headache. Have you guys seen that before? You guys seen people where they'll make a lot of money, they'll find a way to get rid of it. That's where for me, my thermostat was. There's a threshold of money that you either are used to seeing in your bank account, or you're used to seeing on your spending, whatever, on your debit card, or your credit card. And if it goes above that, just like the air conditioner, it'll start to cool it down and you'll start to wane back and you'll start to not spend money anywhere. Or if you have an excess of it, most of us just find a place to spend it instead of actually putting it either into savings or, investment or reinvesting it into our business, whatever it is, we'll get it back down to that place. So what I find is that a lot of people are actually scared. And I was scared to make more money because I didn't know what it was going to do. And all I chose to focus on for the longest time was the horror stories that I saw and I read about of the people who made a lot of money and did something so stupid with it. And I thought, well, if I never have a lot of money, then I'll never be able to get in that situation to, maybe make a huge mistake. And I just don't believe anymore that that's any way that I should live. And so with that, the reasons why I think it's so important for us, you guys, especially when it comes to Isagenix, this company is, we would all agree, the most beautiful company on the face of the planet. They give so much, like this Dash to Disney, all of these incentives that they're running. They're so giving. We have now an Isagenix, a legacy foundation where we're raising our own money from within our own organizations to give and to bless this world. So why is it that so many of us feel that we're not deserving of a lot of money?
Yeah. I mean, and that is so true. And the story that I had when I left the Cepedas and I came back to Knoxville and I began to work as a hairstylist was I was making $150 a week trying to build my clientele. So any amount of money that I had, I would store it and I didn't want to spend it at all. And again, just like what James was doing is I was kinking my own hose. There was no way that more money could begin to flow into my life because I had this relationship with money to where it was so controlling. I was so controlled by it and I did not want to be controlled by it. So I had to change the way that I thought about it. And one of the things that really released me was, and what we want to do now is I want you to make a list of the beautiful things that have happened in this world thanks to money. Because we give every single month to beautiful children who are in Africa and it feeds them. We are able to give so much. So make a list of the beautiful things that have happened in the world thanks to money. What has money done that is incredible? Think about all of the things that you know and that you've seen. Disaster relief. Oh my gosh, the hurricane that just came in. And because of money, the amazing amounts of money that was given to Wilmington to be able to restore the devastation that took place. So make that list because we are going to begin to focus on these things so that you begin to view money different.
Yeah, so take a couple minutes, write down. I want you to go, just look through history, see of all the beautiful things that have happened because of money, thanks to money. Disaster relief, you guys, wouldn't really happen without money. There aren't, all of these amazing things. So just make a list and just think of all of the things.
Medical research, making wishes come true. Oh my gosh, make a wish, being in Isagenix, like those children.
Who would agree that when you're at Celebration New Year's Kickoff, that Make-A-Wish and that Legacy Foundation, that it is, waterfalls, man, it's a waterfall. It's the most powerful thing to be able to have all these people say, hey, I make a lot of money. I'll write a check for $10,000 right now so that you can have this amazing thing. Like so beautiful. Refill my water real quick.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to rewrite your money story. That letter that you wrote to yourself about your relationship with money, and if it was negative, we are going to rewrite the story. And it's okay right now if your brain is fighting this. I have to continue to upgrade my story. And I'm going to share I'm going to share with you a really powerful breakthrough story that I had after we write this.
So before you guys write it, can I read you my money story that I wrote last year to money? That'd be good. Okay. So this is what my money story sounded like. I wrote a new one. It said, "Dear Money, you are awesome. You helped me so much achieve what I have on my heart to achieve. You've been one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to bless so many other people in the capacity that I have. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for working with me and being on my team. I'm wanting to continue to learn more about you so that we can work more efficiently and effectively together. I don't ever want to abuse you, but I never want to hold you too tightly either. I want to receive all of the qualities you want to come into me and promise to steward you with the discerning spirit I have within me. I truly believe that the more I have of you, the more impactful and the more life I will be able to bring to this world. So let's do this. Let's go bigger than we've ever gone before." I say a little bit more, but that's a little bit of my letter, my new letter to money.
And when you first wrote this, was this challenging for your mind to write out?
So hard. It was so challenging.
But the more that you read that to yourself on a daily basis, is that what caused you to really believe?
Totally, because I saw all these stories and I would read that and then I would hear somebody say, well, no, but money's evil. No, money's bad. You don't need a lot of money. You can just live such a simple life. I would hear all of these little voices, but I chose, this is what I believe about money based off of my dreams, my desires, and this is the stance that I'm going to take as far as what I believe this can circulate into the world. So take a couple minutes.
Yeah, take a couple minutes because we want you to rewrite your money story. And even though right now your brain may be fighting this, you are going to, just like you do with your gratitude journal, this is going to be something that you read every single day so that it becomes so solid in your belief. Your subconscious believes it, which causes your actions to align with it. It's not going to matter when somebody tells you no in Isogenics. It's not going to matter that you missed the crystal reset and you didn't end up getting crystal manager before your name or crystal executive. You are going to have massive success because you are going to write this and reread this over and over and over again till it just becomes part of who you are. So let's take the next couple of minutes and you're going to rewrite the story. And if your brain starts to tell you this isn't how you feel, it doesn't matter. You are going to fight that and you're going to continue to push forward and to say, no, this is my beautiful relationship with money because this is what you're going to read over and over again and it's going to manifest into your reality.
Yes.
So let's take the next couple moments and then
again creation, clap down for the jubilation. Look at all that light you making, send it out, no reservation. Like a river, we let it flow. Still hot like a volcano. Mother Earth still got my soul in the hot, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow. Halo, we shine a butterfly wing. Take that crown, put it on that king. Sing like a child, no care for opinion. Real love across our dominion. So bountiful, pull it back and let it go. Like ocean wave, powerful, constellation magical. So this love still hold true. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Yeah. Tell them, I won't give up on you. I stand up, got all my hands up, root down strong like Mount Akira. In the ocean, holy emotion, ride that flow. I see you later. In the park of Shangri-La, I see Mama, she's standing holy. All those colors filled with glory. Open up and hear the story. Oh, this love still hold true. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. This love still hold true. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is love forever. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you.
All right. You guys get a little bit of writing in there?
I feel like everyone's still writing. Do you guys need a
guys
little more time?
Some more time?
Are you good? Or you do need some more? No. You need more time? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Just
right.
we'll
That's
turn
good.
the music
That's
back
good.
up and we'll let you guys continue writing.
Flow. Let it flow. It's good. Keep writing. All right. Some good stuff. Thumbs up if that was a good little exercise for you.
Is there anybody who would like to share their letter? Maybe just like one or two people. Anybody that would like to share? You don't have to, but if you want to.
Declare what you want your relationship to be like, or things that your new relationship. Writing okay. Here. I love it.
For Les still writing. Anybody?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Mandy, do you want to? Yeah? Okay. Let's unmute her line. Okay.
All right, there you go, Mandy.
Okay, this is really uncomfortable. And I know that the most growth that I'm going to have is the opportunity to share this. So thank you. So my beautiful relationship with money. Money, I truly cherish you and honor every cent that comes and goes into my life so that I can provide an abundant life for my family and my parents. I respect you for all that you have provided for me and others. I admire you and how we can do good together in this world by being able to contribute to the world. I love our growth together and let go of the past hurt and resentment that I held on to, which no longer serves me. I trust myself with you and know how to create more to do my highest good.
Ooh.
Wow.
How does that make you feel when you read that out loud?
Very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really emotional for me because like I shared in the text, like in the past, I created a lot and lost over $1 million. Like, and it was, I've held on to the loss, for a long time, and that doesn't feel good and that doesn't serve me, but that felt really like cleansing and it felt amazing. So thank you.
Hey, show Mandy some love in the chat, you guys.
Thank you so much for having the courage and the boldness to share that. That was so beautiful. And the cleansing that you feel, imagine just saying that and reading that to yourself every day. Like that will change things. That was so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
One more? Does one more person want to? Carson?
Yeah, let's hear from Carson.
All right, you are unmuted. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I love your short hair. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Okay. So I said, "Dear Money, I love you." Shocking, right? But I love you. You have allowed me and will continue to allow me to create this amazing life for our family. You allow me to give abundantly. We used to struggle together, but I am so thankful we have grown and found this new love for each other. You are good, you are kind, and you serve a huge purpose in my life. I am so grateful that when I circulate you out, you are come back in tenfold. You are a good thing in my life to fulfill my purpose that God has created me for. So thank you. I am thankful for you and blessed by you. I cannot wait to see what we do next together.
Oh, I love that. How does that make you feel when you got to declare that over your life?
I'm like shaking. It's amazing. It's like a crazy feeling because you don't really realize that you feel this way, and then when you know that it's for good, that it really does change. And I'm like shaking. I can barely talk, but yeah, it's good.
Thank you so
Amazing.
much, Mandy and Carson, for having the courage to share that and to put that out there, to really to own it. Again, this is something that I have found that is not talked about a lot. And money is blamed for so many things. It's blamed. It's the root. It's just, oh, it's money's fault. Oh, well, if there wasn't money, oh, it gets so brutally, I would just say trampled in the mud, but we don't really ever take to stop and put that same sort of energy into all of the good that not only it has done, but you guys, the good that it can do. I truly believe, this is an absolute 100% belief that I have. I believe right now on this line, if everybody had more money and was circulating more money on this call, this world would be a better place. Yeah. I 100% believe that.
Yeah, and speaking of circulating money, we want to share with you some of the things that we have done in our own life to constantly be allowing ourselves to live in a place of abundance. So would it be okay with you? You don't have to take this, but we would love to share with you one of the things that we've learned. And I'm really grateful. I just want to honor my parents because I am really grateful for the wisdom that they've bestowed on James and myself when it comes to money and when it comes to some of the things that we've learned about money. And one of the things that my mom and my dad taught me from very early on that we've applied into our life, which allows so much more room for abundance to take place in our life, is living our life within our means. And this is what I mean by that. The majority of the world will make an allotted amount of money, whether that's $30,000 a year or $100,000 a year or $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year. Remember just a couple moments ago, I said, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't guard your mind, it will be the exact same making 30,000 as it is making 5 million. And one of the things that we've learned is that whatever income we make, whether that is 30,000 or $250,000 last year that we made in Isogenics, if this is our barometer and this is $250,000, we live our life always below it. We do not live our life right at the same amount of money that we spend. And our rule of thumb is every time that we get paid, and if you are part-time in Isogenics, you can apply this to your life if this feels great to you or not. We take 10% of everything that we make every single week, and we put that towards giving so that we can circulate money towards giving. We take out 10% for giving. We take out our taxes immediately after that. Whatever that percentage is, we take out our taxes immediately after that. We take out a portion for our savings, so we save a little, and then we live, and whatever we have left over is what we spend. And if we cannot purchase for something in full, we do not buy it. So if we can't afford to go on this trip for this weekend, we won't go on that trip. And when we applied that to our life, we began to see circulation occur. We began to see so much abundance begin to happen in our life, because when normal things happen, such as our car needing a new tire or 3 new tires because I run over nails, it didn't affect us the same way. And that rule of thumb really allowed more abundance to take place. And I wanted to share, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, I do. So
okay,
when it comes to network marketing, and when it comes to people who own their own business, I would say specifically network marketing, listen, what I've learned is the name of the game is not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Now, that's not to say that we're hoarders and we just hoard all of our money, because that goes against what we just talked about circulating. But at the end of, let's say at the end of this 5 years, we've had $1 million, come through our bank account or whatnot through the past 5 years. What have we really accomplished if it all stopped today, if we had nothing to show for it? Right? Does that make sense? Like if we've made $1 million, but then today there's nothing there. We have $20. Sure, we've lived a great life. Sure, we've gone to great places. But if this were to stop, or if things were to change, or if life were to happen, where would we be? And I find that there's that 30 for 30 that Carrie and I, Audrey's dad and I talk about. What's it called? Broken something.
Wait, Daddy, what is it?
Yeah, it's called Broke. It covers 50 athletes who made well over $1 million a year who are today broke.
Right. Yeah. So it's this whole concept of these guys who've made so much money and then for whatever reason they just end up broke. So we don't want to swing on that side of the pendulum where we're spending more money than we have and we're digging ourselves in a hole for the sake of hustling or for the sake of expansion. That's not what we want to do. But when we can control our appetite, because I believe that in the world we live in today, appetite is probably the largest thing in terms of a hyper consumption of goods and things that maybe we do or do not need, most of which we don't need. If we can control that, and I would say in a large portion, we've learned to just reallocate it, to put the money that we would spend on frivolous things or experiences and whatnot and pour it back into our business or things that are going to propel our future. That is so much more compounding than spending all this money for experiences or maybe an item or something that we'll only use 1 or 2 times. And so in network marketing, you guys, we have, and with Isogenics specifically, we have such an amazing ability to make whatever type of money that you could possibly want. But wouldn't it be so nice if you've made so much money, not only has your relationship with money grown so in such a way that you don't have stress, there's not this anxiety, there's this freedom and there's abundance and there's this flow. Yeah. And at the end of it, you have this storehouse of wealth where you don't even see it. You don't even look at it. You're able to live your life now, buy the trips, go on the trips, but you're putting stuff away every single week so that you can go and reinvest or put money aside for college or whatever it is that you want to do with your money, but that it's not so dependent on Isogenics continuing to work or this economy continuing to work the way that it is for you to feel secure.
Right. Yeah. And I just think that's so powerful. And one of the reasons why we really choose to focus on the positives of upgrading our story and to take that, what James and I just shared, into play is because we want to continually be moving the needle. And so for us, we're constantly upgrading our money story. One of the things that we've seen is the money that we give. And that isn't to say, okay, we're going to give all of our money so that now we're stressed out about paying for our bills. Again, we don't want to go from one pendulum to the next. Finding balance is what we really strive for in this life. But when we give money, we notice the spiritual law that God really put into place is you will see it come back to you. Anything that we've given freely out of the abundance of our heart without having the stress, with honestly saying, okay, I know that what you sow, you are going to reap. What you give, God does bless back in so much more. And so for me, for a very, very, very long time, it was so much easier for me to give money than it was to spend on myself. I did not like spending money on myself. I didn't like spending money on things for myself. I like to spend money on things for our team and for other people, but it was very challenging for me. And I had a very powerful moment this year. And like we said at the very beginning of this call, in January of this year, James and I took to heart everything that we've been sharing with you. We dug into the pain of money. We dug into the negative stories and we began to rewrite it and read our money story over and over every single day. And when opportunity presented itself for us to fall back into old patterns, we had to very uncomfortably lean into the process and break through. And when we broke through, we started to recreate these new patterns in our life. So we went to Phoenix, Arizona in May for a brand ambassador workshop with Isagenix. Zach was actually there with us. So I know he probably shared with you some amazing things that we talked about when we were there, but we were sitting in this room. James and I were the youngest people by a lot. We were the youngest people in this room, and the people who were in this room were making significantly more money than James and I make in Isagenix. So in that case, and when we're in that place of being in a room with people who make more money than us, then I am going to observe, and I am going to watch, and I'm going to receive the things that I see from other people that I desire in my own life. And so I'm watching Laura Stevens and Kelly Dickerhuff, who I think that they are just beautiful women. Physically, yes, but their hearts are beautiful and they are powerful, and they carry themselves and they hold themselves to a very high standard. And I was watching them, and I was, we were talking, and I was just looking at how they were carrying themselves, in the way that they dressed, in the accessories that they wore, in the purses that they chose. And I'm going to share this with you, and this is just something that I really recognized about myself.
Just full transparency.
Yeah,
this is
really full transparency. I never liked to spend a lot of money on clothing. I never did. Up until this year, I would shop at Forever 21. I would go straight to the sales rack. I didn't like to spend a lot of money. And I didn't realize that by me going into a store and going straight to the sales rack, I was subconsciously telling myself that I didn't deserve to buy clothing that was expensive. And I noticed that, and I looked at Kelly, and I looked at Kelly, and I looked at Laura, and I said, Kelly and Laura, who are the most down-to-earth women, they are not uppity, they give so much, they have hearts of service, they're caring, their standard of living, they wouldn't even think about going into Forever 21. Not because they're above anything, but it's just not their standard for living. They just choose to shop at places that when they put on the clothes, they're wearing expensive clothes because that's how much they value themselves. And I looked at that and I said, what if I began something so small? And it sounded so trivial to me at the time. I said, okay, I'm going to value myself, and I'm going to love myself more to spend a little bit more money on a pair of jeans that I'm going to feel better in. And I came back home from that trip, and I went through my closet, and I gave away a lot of my clothes. I mean, a lot of them. I gave away all of these clothes.
It's a good day.
Yeah, James was like, yeah, get rid of everything. So I'm getting rid of all of these clothes, and I'm getting rid of all of these purses. And I'm making room for the new. I'm circulating this energy where I'm getting rid of all of the old, and I'm making room for the new. When I got rid of the old, and I went and I visited my sister-in-law, who's like really classy. She's so classy. She loves expensive things. She's so down to earth. She took me on this shopping spree because I didn't really know how to shop for clothes, okay? Just being transparent. And she took me to these amazing stores where she gave me this incredible experience. And I bought things for myself that I would never have bought prior to this experience at this brand ambassador workshop. And when I put these clothes on, my posture changed. Because when I began to put on these clothes, I felt worthy of receiving high quality clothing. My shoulders went back even more. My posture changed, and I became even more professional. This was, by the way, this was right before we became some of the youngest Isagenix millionaires. This was just a couple of months ago that all of this started taking place in my life. And what began to happen was that month when we came back in May, in June and July, James and I enrolled over 20 people. in 2 months with Isogenics. Rank advancements were happening. Yes, we were putting in the work, but our posture changed. We began to raise our standard. Our money mindset began to change. And when we began to take action, it was so uncomfortable for me to spend $30 more on a shirt that I normally would spend. It was so uncomfortable. I had to lean into the process. Again, you're not going to live above your means. We were living within our means, but it was uncomfortable for me to do that. But I had to break those old patterns to be able to step into the new. And when we did that, there was an unkinking of the hose that began to take place in my life. And when that hose began to get unkinked, more business partners, more ideal business partners began to be attracted more to who I was as a person. And they began to join our business. More money began to flow. Our commissions began to go up even more with Isogenics because of the posture that we were taking. Because I was holding so strongly onto money, I would give it away to people, but money, I didn't have a good relationship with money on my own. That money trusted me enough to spend it on my own self. So when I began to spend it on myself in a way that wasn't going out of my means, it was still living within our means, money did begin to trust us more. And we began to grow just even more exponentially. And so I wanted to share that with you because it was a very powerful thing that happened in my own life this year, where I laugh now because I say, I am not a Forever 21 girl anymore. I am a Dillard's girl, or I'm a department girl, where I just began to move into this new depth in my own life because I wanted to grow in our relationship with money. And
to that as well, standards are different for everyone. So again, we're sharing what we found that has rang and sung to us. I know if any of you guys know, on Zach and Eden's team, Zach and Eden have the highest standards, and we have been inspired.
Eden helped me a lot with this, by the way.
We have been inspired so much, and we've learned so much from them, just in terms of standards, of having standards, of saying, listen, yes, for me especially, yes, I could totally just get away with, buying, whatever it is, clothes or food. Okay, I'll just give me the cheapest thing. That's totally fine. But that is in many ways just saying that, you're not worthy enough maybe. And two, you're believing that there's not enough to continue again to circulate. If you were to spend money here, that, there wouldn't be enough for whatever else you wanted to give into. So that was just a story that was a practical thing, and kind of leading into and wrapping up really in the final minutes of the call. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to how we've learned over what we've done this, I would say for all of our business, is we've taken some of our money every single week or every single month, and guys, we've reinvested it into our business,
into our people,
into our organization, into our, whatever it is going on within our Isogenics team. And that started from day one for me. And I think I was modeled that because Aud introduced me to it initially and was sharing it with me and kind of sharing how to go about it. But we now take time and take money and take our resources, and we don't spend them on ourselves. We reinvest them back into it. But here's the thing. Everybody on this line has the ability to do that. If you're enrolling people, if you are cycling, if you've made a PIB, if you've made any sort of money, you have the capacity to reinvest some sort of money back into your business. And you'll see this throughout traditional businesses. Most traditional businesses, brick and mortar, if anybody's had it, you're reinvesting for so long just to get this thing rolling, just to get it, propelling off the ground, to then you can write yourself a check, to then you can, and I'm not saying put it all in there, but you'll hear these business owners and they'll say, I didn't write myself a check for the first 2 or 3 years because I was reinvesting it all back into the business to get it off the ground.
And we know that many of you might be thinking to yourself right now, well, I need that, PIB from Isogenics. And so what we want to encourage you with is you don't have to go to the extreme of gifting your team an expenses paid trip to Scottsdale right now. But what you can do is you can say, okay, you know what? October is coming up. I'm going to, whatever PIBs that I have, I'm going to take a little portion of that And I'm going to maybe run a fun little contest for the 3 people that are on my team now. Or maybe you have 10 people, or maybe you have 1 person. And you can incentivize them. You can say to them, hey, I want to bless you by growing your business. If you hit Crystal Manager at this time, I am going to gift you this. Or you can just, gift somebody, you can write them a card, send them flowers, give them, a little necklace. Taking that money and reinvesting it back into your business, again, is giving. So it is circulating money. And what that is going to do is that's going to upgrade your money story. It's going to allow the flow to continue. And so what James and I do is we love running fun little contests alongside of what Isagenix is already doing. We are not reinventing the wheel. I know Zach and Eden we're both running Scottsdale right now, but maybe you are going to say, oh my gosh, I've got a brand new guy who's on my team who's fired up about Isagenix right now. You know what? I want to really push him and encourage him to rank advance or to enroll 2 people this week. And if he enrolls 2 people, maybe you're going to give him a gift. Maybe it's going to be, you're going to give him a $25 bonus by doing that. And maybe if you're saying that's too much money for me right now, maybe you're going to send him some balloons. Maybe you're going to do something, even if it's just a little bit, to reinvest back into your people. Because again, what you sow into people, you are going to reap. We always talk about this long-term vision of Isagenix because this isn't a 30 days, get rich quick, make $1 million. This isn't even 60 days. There are the rare exceptions in Isagenix of people making $100,000 in their first 6 months, but that is an anomaly. That isn't the majority of people. So we are talking about this long-term vision. What really, really excites me about Isagenix is knowing that what you sow into your business, even though you may not see the return right at this moment, every connection that you are making, every time you send a voice memo to your team member encouraging them, anytime that you invest back into your business monetarily, I know the spiritual laws that God put into place when he said, you will reap what you sow. And so you can be encouraged right now on this call. If you do not have a high cycles in your back office right now on this Sunday evening, you can be encouraged by knowing that the action steps that you have taken in your business thus far, you are going to see the fruit of your labor.
And in wrapping up, I'll say this: you can start right now to make whatever changes in your relationship with money that you want to see. We heard from Mandy, we heard from Carson in terms of the things that maybe were uncovered and that they said, wow, I really never knew that I was harboring this stuff with money or against money. And I really never realized that it created these feelings in me and that I was really, whatever. Maybe you had your own, revelation today, and that's great. But hear me when I say, this can change so much as quickly as you want it. It will, however, require you to lean in.
Yeah.
It will require you to maybe do some things that you've never done before, to change your habits, to change, just the energy within your living space of saying, why don't we just take just $20 or whatever. Let's just put it around the house just so I can know that there's money everywhere around me. When I'm in the bathroom washing my hands, I know that there's a $20 bill in there, and you are consciously telling yourself that there's money all around you. You guys, there's such an availability. I have just come to this belief. It's so ingrained in me. There's money everywhere. You just have to reach out and grab it. And so we know that there is that within Isagenix. We are so blessed. And Zach and Eden did such a beautiful job in terms of network marketing, the timing, Isagenix, the compounding effect, all of that. But I challenge all of you to spend the next couple of minutes, couple of hours, if it is, whatever, and really continue that conversation with money, whether it's with yourself, whether if it's with your spouse. And if you do have a spouse within, that's either you're doing this with, or you have a spouse in general, I would encourage to have this conversation with them and say, hey, I started thinking a lot about my relationship with money. And this is the vision that I see and that I want to have with money. And I want to start curating it and cultivating it right now. And then
finally, read your new money story to yourself every single day. Every single day, read that to yourself over and over and over and over again. Words of affirmation are so important. Writing out your gratitudes are so important. Focusing on the positives is so important. This is equally as important to continue to develop and upgrade your story. So read that to yourself every single day. And guys, we are so honored and so grateful that you are a part of this workshop. We both hope that you are leaving this call with an awareness to upgrade your story and to take action on moving that pendulum even more towards, what is it? What do we call it? A ticker? What do we say?
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
We're moving forward, people. We are moving forward.
Hey guys, go and share this with your team. I think this call is going to be posted. You guys are so amazing. Thank you for just being engaged, for playing all in, for sharing, being honest with yourself. We love you guys, and you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening if that's where you're at. So love you guys.
Bye guys.
We'll see you guys.